Hey, how are you? Well, I've got a topic that I've been discussing with people lately, and I really just wanted to bring it into a long form video and kind of just speak my mind on it. And I brought this concept up to a few people and touched on it lightly and deeply, depending on who it was. And like I say, this is a topic that I think is important when I started to realize it, and it might be important for somebody else to hear as well. But also, it might be kind of an explanation to myself about I don't know. Maybe when we get into it, you'll understand. So there's a very old phrase. I'm not 100% sure where it comes from, but the phrase goes some. Let me think of the phrase. Never attribute to malice what can be attributed to ignorance. And I think it's actually a pretty clever phrase. The idea is pretty good, and on its face, it actually sounds better than the alternative. The idea of people people might not be like evil or bad or whatever. They might just be ignorant. Uh, they might just not understand completely. Um, it might just be not very intelligent. They may have just made a mistake or something. Maybe something out of their control. The idea of ignorance, I think, is pretty broad in that statement. The idea of malice is pretty broad in that statement as well. I feel this is a really important statement simply because we are operating, it seems, in a world where that phrase is quite telling. And it does seem like that we're all operating under the assumption that everything is attributable, as far as other people, is attributable to they're either a bad person, they're a malicious person, or they're ignorant. They're stupid, or uh, they just don't want to know, or there's many forms of ignorance where it can be construed as ignorance. But this is kind of what we're walking around subconsciously thinking, that either everyone is like a really bad person, or they're they're both ways of putting people below us. That they're either bad, which puts them below us, or they're ignorant, which puts them below us. They don't know as much as we do. Um, so I think both of those things have very serious issues. Um, that statement, and again, the fact that people are they don't realize they're operating under something similar to that statement, but either everyone is bad or everyone is stupid. That's essentially what most people are walking around thinking. The crazy part is not just that is such a limited way of thinking, but also very, very much how people like to put these categories together. Well, we have a third option. There is a third option, and this is the option I think that most people are not taking, because it takes too much nuance, it takes too much articulation, and too much, to be completely honest, it takes too much heart. And the third option is, do you realize how many people are hurt right now? Like, justified or unjustified, like, everyone is very seriously traumatized by one thing or another, and I don't throw that out lightly. Uh, Life has been made so hard for so many people in so many different ways that we don't understand ourselves. That the third option, to think like this person might have done this because they're in very serious pain, and they might be trying to run from it, or trying to dull it, or trying to do something to resolve it that they think they're going to do to resolve it. That's an option which we readily give ourselves. We will readily tell ourselves that everything we do is because, oh, this person was bad to me. And I've done this myself. And this person was bad to me, and this was what happened to me in my life, my parents, and my school, and all these things. They're all legitimate, but it does seem like we have a tendency to judge everyone else on those two first ones, that everyone is either a bad person or they're ignorant. And then exclusively give ourselves the third option, which is everything that we do is because we're hurt, and because people are against us, or there's varying ways to put that together. But this idea that you afford yourself the ability to write off everything that you do as some sort of product of your pain, which very well might be. I'm not saying that's not true. To afford that to yourself, you have to afford that to other people. We can't just be walking around thinking that everybody is either a really bad person, like evil, pure evil, or they're just pure, ignorant, that they just know nothing. Because those are both ways to lower people and elevate ourselves. And that's just not, it's disingenuous when you put it against the fact that you constantly give yourself, and again, I do this to myself. This is a cultural thing in the U.S. It's just whatever, generational. I don't know. Either way, we always give ourselves the benefit of the doubt, while everyone else, they're either bad or they're ignorant. So again, I want to reiterate that there are a lot of hurt people, and when I think about things, all I can think about is how many people are hurt. Like, they're hungry, we're talking the basics, they're hungry, they don't have shelter, they're all these different things. But it's more than that. It's an entire system, an entire ecosystem, which, because other people aren't giving you that benefit of the doubt, the third option of like, hey, this person might be hurt, you don't really give many people that option either. And it's sad. I think that's honestly the saddest thing, is not that everyone, or a mass majority of people are walking around thinking everyone's evil or stupid. It's that people are just seem too ready to throw away that third option, which is the grace option, the option to be like, hey, this person is pretty hurt, and I've been pretty hurt in my lifetime, and I would hope that anything that I did that I would regret now, or feel bad about or whatever, that somebody would say, hey, I think this guy might have been in pain. I don't think he was particularly malicious about anything. Maybe some things. I'm not perfect. But I just want to bring this up because it's like, why are we doing that? Are we all so self-obsessed that we can have an entire set of rules for other people and have an instant out for ourselves? So I wanted to bring this up because I think everyone's really frustrated right now. There's a lot of people who are frustrated for multiple different reasons. And again, the easiest thing and the least nuanced thing and the least thing that you have to do to think is to just assume everybody is stupid and evil. And that's not going to help anybody. It's also pretty rude to just go around and be thinking everybody's stupid and evil. There are evil people. There are ignorant people. But you know what there's a lot more of? People who are hurt. There's a lot more of those people. There's a lot more of people who have been told they weren't anything their whole lives. People who have been told they were ugly their entire lives. People who have been told they're not smart. People who you thought were ignorant, being told that they weren't smart. People being told that they were bad, that you told people. That I did. We all did this stuff. There's a lot more of those people, and you're probably one of those people. That's why you give yourself the benefit of the doubt. ultimately, I just think that we have disconnected ourselves from something that I can only now describe as the universal suffering that every single human being understands. There's a whole lot more of that. There's a whole lot more of those people. People who you may think they're evil, right? You may think they're ignorant, and they might be, actually. But you know why? Because they're hurt. They don't want to have to admit this stuff. Nobody wants to dive into their own pain. You tell me, come on now. You tell me, you start listing off all the people you know who I just can't wait to sit around and get in more pain so I can figure all my stuff. No. You got people running from it. You got people running from pain. I don't blame them. There's plenty of it to go around. So let's just take a moment to just stop and step back for a minute. And all this talk from all different group people of all these, everybody talking about they're trying to unite people and trying to whatever. I don't even know. They're not even a particular group I'm thinking of. Everybody talks about this stuff. But then they go around treating everybody like they're pure evil or they're pure stupid. And then they want people to give them the benefit of the doubt. That's not a way to run a society. That's not a way to win the hearts and minds of people. That's not telling people you don't care about them. Wow. A whole society of people who thinks everybody is stupid and evil. What a world. Instead of going around, hey, this person's probably in pain. There's probably a lot of things in the world that are bearing down on them. And you know what? I don't want to add to that. And maybe if people started thinking that, they wouldn't add to your life. I don't know. I'm not saying we can solve this thing. I'm just saying that to, again, repeat the phrase, never attribute to malice what can be attributed to ignorance. I would say do not go to either of those first. The first thing you might want to think is, this person's hurt. This person's damaged. Not in a way that makes them less, but in a way that makes them in need of somebody to care about them. So when you're out and about, maybe this week, start thinking, hey, when something happens that frustrates you, start thinking, maybe this person's having something you don't know about. Maybe this person's frustrated about something you have no complete idea about. Maybe they're like you on their most frustrated day. Think of the most frustrated day you've ever had. You were probably not nice to people. Maybe they're like that. Maybe the reason that they seem ignorant, they don't seem to be completely with it, is because they're thinking about something that's pain. Something inside of them that happened earlier is going to happen, not because they're stupid or because they're a bad person. And again, I just want to close this by saying there are bad people. There are malicious people, and there are ignorant people. People who enjoy being ignorant. People who will never care to read a book or care to improve themselves in any way. Not that, I guess, reading a book would particularly constitute improving yourself. I mean, maybe the book has some good information. Might be entertaining too. I don't know. Either way, there are those people. But again, there are more people who are just in pain. So next time you go to get mad at somebody says something you don't like, or somebody does something that you don't like, or just think, is this person just hurt? It's coming from a place of hurt. Something to consider.